Now shifting focus to the other big story we're tracking here on India Today. 20 people who've returned from the United Kingdom have so far tested positive for this new strain of the coronavirus, which is now being called the UK mutant. What's a cause for grave concern? Of the 21 is a 2-year-old child, and some doctors have expressed this apprehension that children are extremely vulnerable to the new strain.
Any problem?
The UK strain of novel coronavirus is spreading in India. 20 people who returned from the United Kingdom have tested positive for the new strain, which is believed to be 70% more infectious. The Health Ministry says that 9 samples in Delhi, 1 in Kolkata, 1 in Pune, 7 in Bengaluru and 2 in Hyderabad have tested positive for the new strain. In Karnataka, there are fears the virus may have infected some contacts of the UK returnees.
ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ 7 ಜನರದಾಗಿದೆ. ಶಿವಮೊಗ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದ ದಿವಸನೇ ಅವರನ್ನು ಹಿಡಿದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ 7 ಜನ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಆ 7 ಜನದಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಮತ್ತೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇದೆ.
The government has maintained there is no proof the new virus leads to more severe disease or higher fertility. But there are concerns that the mutant also infects children, unlike the earlier strains, which did not seem to have a big impact on kids. A 2-year-old girl in Meerut tested positive for the new strain. The child had recently returned from the UK along with her parents.
3 में से जो एक 2 साल की बच्ची है वो पॉजिटिव आई है. उसका स्ट्रेन यूके वाले जो वायरस से मिलता जुलता है. जितने भी लोग आए हैं हमारे पास जो क्वारंटाइन में भी हैं और जिनके सैंपल लिए गए हम सबके साथ संपर्क में हैं.
An Andhra woman who had escaped quarantine after returning from UK has also tested positive for the new COVID strain. The woman had taken a train from Delhi to Rajamundry. With the new COVID strain spreading across the globe, the central government has suspended flights from UK till January 7th.
The UK's mutant strain has entered India with 20 of them testing positive with the same strain. But the number is likely to rise and the government is treading a cautious line. But on the other hand, good news is also not far away as India looks at a likely candidate for the vaccine rollout anytime soon. With Ashok Banot, this is Milan Sharma for India Today.
So this Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, all eyes on this vaccine. It's got a nod in the United Kingdom. It's likely to get a nod in India soon. Of course, there could still be a slip between the cup and the lip. There is a meeting on Friday. More information has been sought from the manufacturers. Milan Sharma gets you more.
Faced by a never-ending pandemic crisis, the UK government gave certification to the homegrown Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
On the 4th of January, so we'll start, started next week. And the hospitals across the country are ready. But we can also use this vaccine in primary care. We can take it to care homes. It just needs normal fridge temperature rather than the -70 super cold storage that the Pfizer vaccine requires.
The news from the United Kingdom brought cheer at the Pune-based Serum Institute, which carried out trials and is manufacturing millions of doses of the vaccine under the name Covishield.
We've got 40 to 50 million doses already made. We're producing more every week. And once we get the regulatory approvals in a few days, I would say, then it'll be down to the government to decide how much they can take, how fast they can take it. And we're talking about, reaching at least 300 million doses by July 2021.
But the government's vaccine expert panel put off approval for Covishield after a meeting on Wednesday. The subject expert committee called for more data on Covishield. Covishield has reported an average efficacy of around 70% and is the front runner for vaccine distribution in India. It claims to have multiple benefits. It is cheaper, can be stored at normal fridge temperature, is easier to transport, and most importantly, it is manufactured by an Indian. The government's preparations for vaccine rollout are in full swing. with dry runs carried out in 4 states recently. States have ramped up cold chains and vaccination teams. Hopefully, Covishield should get the nod on Friday.
The subject expert committee has yet not given an emergency use authorization to Covishield, Serum Institute of India, Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. With that, Bharat Biotech and Pfizer have also been asked to submit more data. Until then, we'll have to wait and see when the next meeting convenes on 1st of January 2021. Will a vaccine get an emergency use authorization in India? Milan Sharma for India Today.
Dr. Sanjeev Bagai is chairman of Nephron Clinics. He joins me on the broadcast. Dr. Bagai, this report from Ghaziabad that seemed to indicate that children are more vulnerable to the UK mutant. Is there a genuine fear that children could be more vulnerable, especially toddlers and school-going kids, sir?
Good evening, Gaurav. So far, what we have seen in the last 10 or 11 months, children have by and large been spared by SARS-CoV-2, which causes COVID-19 disease. Overall, in the global population, of all the population which have been unfortunately infected, the children only comprise of less than 9% of the overall load. Now, what this mutation strain, which we are seeing in the UK, so-called UK strain, is what we call as B1.1.17, is that 3 mutations have taken place simultaneously. So it's the first time which this 3 simultaneous mutations have taken place. So just focusing on the children point of view, what this mutation has done is there is an axis of the spike protein. So that means it's in a particular direction. The direction changes, the spike protein opens up into a trimer. So instead of 1 latching horn, now it has 3 latching horns, and it becomes more susceptible to the host cell in the lungs, what we call as the ACE receptors. So children generally don't express the ACE receptors, age point of view. But since the susceptibility increases, it latches on much quicker in children, especially in the lungs. And children then have what we call as multi-organ disease, especially involving the heart, the coronary blood vessels, the brain, and so on, and very often fatal. The other reasons also, from an immune point of view, why children are tending to be more liable to this modified kind of virus, which is a mutant virus. Having said that, this is not the first mutation which has taken place, and perhaps may not be the last. There are more than 12,700 mutations which have taken place. But the saving grace in this is
specifically for children, if I may, what are precautions that parents must take for children, and at what age, children of what age group are most vulnerable?
Yeah, so generally children below the age of 2 find it very difficult to coordinate breathing activity while playing or eating, so masks generally become a little difficult. But after the age of 2, I think the children should get into the habit of wearing a mask. Keep the children as much as possible indoors. In the winter months, especially in northern India, do not expose the child outside in the winter cold temperatures, because we know that lower temperatures increases the transmission of any strain, be it a mutant strain or a non-mutant strain, by almost 19 times. And the pollution, especially in and around Delhi and the NCR, increases it 3-folds. The third thing is, let the children not be in close clusters, so play groups and things like that, because very often the heads are very close together, so the person-to-person, human-to-human transmission can increase. And third, most importantly, is hand hygiene. Children tend to put objects in the mouth, fingers in the mouth, so I think the overall hand and oral hygiene is of paramount importance. So we have to tide over the next 1 or 2 months, specifically looking at the vaccine rollout which is pending and waiting for the winter to abate.
Oh, absolutely. And initially it was said, Doctor, that this may be more contagious, but not necessarily more fatal. Does that remain the case?
That is true. So the human-to-human transmission has increased. Now, this is the double-edged sword statement that it's only transmissibility and not translating into increased severity. Now, if the number of cases increase by say 60-fold or 70-fold, and if it becomes more widespread into the community spread, then obviously it is going to overburden the already stretched Indian healthcare resources. So the total number of ICU beds and so on, the back office facilities may actually run dry. But at the present moment, the knowledge which we have is that it is a self-limiting mutation. It's in a very small segment of the protein amongst 1200 odd genomic sites. This is only a 3-site mutation, so it's less than 1% of the overall genomic load of the virus. It's in a very limited area of the virus. We expect that the vaccine to work very well against this, and we just have to send a word of precaution that we have to continue to keep our guard up for the next few months till the vaccine rollout starts and the winter decreases.
So would that indicate, and you know, last 30 seconds on this part, but does that mean that children may also need to be vaccinated? Because so far it was being said that they may not require it or may not require it immediately.
That is true. So, so far in the phase 3 clinical trials, in all the vaccines which have been launched so far, including the 2 mRNA vaccines, including the Novavax, which is entering into phase 3, the recombinant vaccines, be it the AstraZeneca or the Zydus, the children are generally not included in clinical trials for ethical reasons and legal reasons. So this is not mandated for below the age group of 16. But in due course of time, like the influenza vaccine now is being routinely used in the pediatric population, in due course of time, it would be modified for the pediatric use with a different dosage regime. But at the present moment, the children are not to be given this vaccine because it's not mandated for them, it's not authorized for them.
Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, as always, many thanks for joining me here on India.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.